You're walking through a park. A dog runs toward you, not its owner, not someone it knows. You, a complete stranger. It reaches your feet, looks up, tail moving, eyes wide, and without hesitation, it rolls onto its back. Belly exposed, completely vulnerable, completely trusting. You have known this animal for 11 seconds, and it has already decided you are safe. You didn't earn that. You didn't do anything. You just existed in its field of vision for 11 seconds, and something ancient inside that animal made a decision that could have gotten it killed. Now think about the wolf. Same species, same DNA, same brain structure, same eyes, same nose. The wolf sees you from 40 feet away. It doesn't run toward you. It doesn't expose its belly. It reads you for exactly as long as it takes to calculate the threat. Then it disappears. Same animal, completely different response. The question is not why the wolf runs. The wolf's behavior makes perfect sense. You are large. You are unfamiliar. You are a potential threat. Running is rational. The question that has occupied evolutionary biologists for decades is the dog. Why does the dog trust you? What happened to that wolf's brain somewhere in the last 15,000 years? That produced an animal capable of rolling onto its back for a stranger it met 11 seconds ago. In 2005, a geneticist named Boyko at Cornell University began studying the domestication of dogs. He was not the first, but what he found was different from everything that had come before. The standard story of dog domestication goes like this. Ancient humans captured wolf pups, raised them, bred the least aggressive ones, over thousands of generations produced the domestic dog, a deliberate process humans chose. Humans shaped, humans created the animal you just met in that park. Boyko's genetic analysis suggested something more uncomfortable. We didn't domesticate dogs. Dogs domesticated themselves. Here is what the evidence suggests. 15,000 years ago, some wolves began following human camps. Not captured, not bred, choosing. The camps produced waste, scraps of food, discarded bones, leftover kills. A wolf that could tolerate the proximity of humans long enough to eat had a caloric advantage over a wolf that couldn't. It survived better. It reproduced more. Its offspring inherited a slightly higher tolerance for human proximity. Generation after generation, the wolves that could stay calm near humans outcompeted the ones that couldn't, not because humans chose them, because the human camp was a reliable food source, and calm got you closer. Fear got you nothing. Over thousands of generations of selecting for calmness, something else changed, something nobody predicted. In 1959, a Soviet geneticist named Dmitri Belyaev began one of the most important experiments in the history of biology. He was working with foxes, wild silver foxes, completely undomesticated. He selected only one trait for breeding, not size, not color, not intelligence. Just one thing. How calm were they around humans? The least fearful foxes bred with each other. Their least fearful offspring bred with each other for 40 generations over 60 years. What happened next should not have been possible. The foxes changed, not just behaviorally, physically. Their ears became floppy, their tails began to curl upward, their coats developed patches of white, their snouts shortened, their skulls rounded. They began to look less like wild foxes and more like something you would find curled up on a sofa. But nobody selected for floppy ears. Nobody selected for curly tails. Nobody selected for white patches. The only thing selected was calmness around humans, and calmness brought everything else with it. Belyaev called it developmental destabilization. The genes that control fear and stress responses are connected to the genes that control physical development. When you breed out the fear, you also change the face. The body, the behavior, the animal. All of it, from one selection pressure, calm. This finding reframed everything. The dog in that park with its belly exposed is not trusting you because it was trained to. It is trusting you because 15,000 years ago its ancestors were the wolves calm enough to stay near the fire. The ones that ran had no scraps. The ones that stayed ate. The ones that ate survived. The ones that survived reproduced. The ones that reproduced passed on the calmness. The calmness passed on the floppy ears, the rounded skull, the tail that wags, the eyes that seek yours. That dog in the park is the biological record of every ancestor that chose to stay near a human fire instead of running into the dark. Its trust is not a personality trait. It is 15,000 years of survival data written into its DNA. But here's the part that changes how you see yourself. The same process happened to us. Humans domesticated dogs, and dogs changed humans. A research team led by Miho Nagasawa at Azabu University in Japan published a study in 2015 in the journal Science. They measured oxytocin levels, the bonding hormone, in both dogs and humans during eye contact. When a dog looks into your eyes, your oxytocin levels rise. When you look into the dog's eyes, its oxytocin levels rise. The same hormonal loop that bonds a mother to her newborn child activates between a human and a dog during eye contact. Not with wolves, not with hand-raised wolves that had known humans their entire lives, only with dogs. Something in the domestication process rewired the dog's hormonal system to exploit the human bonding circuit, not deliberately, not consciously. Through 15,000 years of the dogs that could trigger, human attachment surviving better than the dogs that couldn't. You didn't choose to love that dog, your oxytocin chose for you, in milliseconds before you were consciously aware of what was happening. The dog looked at you, your ancient bonding system, the same one that attaches you to your children, your parents, the people you love most, activated for an animal you met 11 seconds ago. This is not weakness. This is not irrationality. This is a system that was shaped by 15,000 years of mutual survival. Dogs that triggered human attachment were fed, sheltered, protected, kept alive through winters that would have killed their wild cousins. Humans who bonded with dogs had better hunting, better warning systems, better protection at night, better survival. The relationship was not accidental. It was the most successful interspecies alliance in the history of life on Earth, and it was built entirely on the ability of one animal to make another animal feel safe. That dog in the park rolled onto its back, 11 seconds after meeting you. You thought it was being friendly, you thought it liked you. You were right, but the reason it liked you goes back further than you can imagine. It liked you because its great-great-great-grandmother stayed near a fire 15,000 years ago while every other wolf ran. It liked you because Dmitri Belyaev selected 40 generations of foxes for calmness and produced an animal that looked at humans the way humans look at each other. It liked you because somewhere in the deep evolutionary history of two species, one learned that the other was the safest thing in the world to be near, and the one that learned it survived, and passed it on, and passed it on, and passed it on. Until 15,000 years later, a dog you have never met rolls onto its back, at your feet, and looks up at you, with complete trust in its eyes, not because of anything you did, because of everything your ancestors were, and it has been waiting for something like you for a very long time.